Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady, where people get mistaken as store employees, and nobody has any idea how it keeps happening, but it keeps us all entertained. In this episode, I've got 4 stories for you, with the last story being nice and wholesome to calm some of you down after listening to dumb Karens attacking innocent people. I hope you stay for all these stories today, and subscribe for future videos. This one's titled, I Don't Work Here, Lady, and no, I'm not here to babysit your kid. A Playground Karen. So I live in an apartment block with my wife and kid. Down the road is a restaurant, bar, poke machine, entertainment venue. It's quite large. Picture the place you'd take the family for cheap good meals and a beer. There's 2 cool things about this place. 1, you have to be a member. Just sign up really for a small fee. And 2, for my kid, it has a playground. Given the membership deal, it's pretty much a sweet-ass private playground for her 80% of the time we go. It's in a closed-off area and extra safe. No way once you're in there could your child run off or fall from something. I take her all the time. I need to mention that there's one part in this playground that's like a room at the top of the playground where a few small kids could sit. So, I take my kid playing, all is well. Then this other kid pops in. I see him play on some stuff and disappear amongst the playground equipment. 20 minutes later, I hear a Karen run in frantically looking for someone. She looks at me and asks if I've seen a kid with XYZ description, and I'm like, yeah, I think he's in here somewhere. Then, she starts berating me, saying that I should have told her that he's been in here so long. I'm scrunching my face up all confused, like, what? She then wants me to crawl through the playground to go get him from up in the large room and that he's probably crying up there. I said no, and she gets even more furious. She called me the most useless staff member that she's ever met. Ever. So, cue my I don't work here lady, and I ask, so you want me to supervise your kid and keep you updated on him? There's like 100 people in here right now, and the sign says, children must be supervised at all times. She's in the corner on the ropes, huffs, and awkwardly tries to get her plus-size body through the playground and fetch her kid. She comes down and said, you left him up there all scared. And I say, lady, you did that. I'm not your babysitter. How would I even know whose kid's up there in the heaps of people here? He's your responsibility. She literally turns the cheek and says, you're horrible. And I say, yeah, and you're a great mom. This story's titled, yes, demand the heavily pregnant woman lift your 30-pound bag of dog food into your cart. I'm a vendor at many stores. I'll go in and put up a few signs or put up some sticker on product. Super easy work. Anyways, months back, I was about 8 months pregnant with my second daughter, and I was doing my job in a local grocery store putting up some signs. As I was in the pet aisle, I noticed this woman's glaring at me. I remove my headphones and she says, I said I need that dog food. I replied, oh, I'm sorry ma'am, I don't work for this store. She said, so? I need help. You need to put this in my cart. She was getting increasingly angry. I replied to her, no ma'am, I'm sure there's an employee nearby, but I do not work for store name. Well, who do you work for so I can complain, she says as she's staring at my name badge that's hanging in front of my huge pregnant stomach. I did notify the store manager and he apologized to me. I also called my manager just in case she actually did try to complain to my company. I never heard anything else about it. Some people are just too entitled. Oh, you don't work at this store? Well, where do you work so I can complain? Karens out there need to get their shit together. This one's titled, just because I'm nice doesn't mean I work here. My ex-wife used to work at Walmart. The store was open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. most days, except for the holidays and New Year's, where they closed early at 6 p.m. New Year's Eve one year, she was working till close. I was off that day, and we had plans to go to a party, so we decided I would meet her after work, and we would leave from there. I got to the store at 6 o'clock on the nose. They were already turning away customers and locking the doors. Anyone inside already got to finish checking out, then had to leave. I knew the manager, so I asked if I could just wait inside the doors until the wife was done work. It was fairly cold and snowing out, so he said, no problem. At this location, they had in and out doors, which worked regardless of which side you were standing on, so they had to lock both of those doors and were letting people out through the emergency exit door located in between them, which can only be opened from the inside. I was standing off to the side by the exit doors. As people tried to leave, they would head to the exit doors, see them locked, stand there for a second and not sure what to do, then head to the emergency exit door. Once they had locked the doors, there was no staff out front directing anyone where to exit. I decided to be nice since I knew most of the staff and was already standing there anyway. And when people came out, I let them know that the big door was locked and they had to use the middle door. Apparently everyone had decided to come in just before closing, and it took at least 45 minutes to clear out the store. At about 6:40 or so, Karen comes and bangs on the door right behind me. At first, I just ignored her, but it sounded like she was gonna smash the glass doors, so I turned to her. Karen says, "Please, I need to get in, it's an emergency." I replied, I'm sorry, they're closed." She then said, "Please, my kid, he needs his medication, I need to get in. Where's your manager?" I told her, "I'm sorry, I don't work here, just waiting for my wife." One of the last customers comes out of the store and headed right for the locked door. I said the same thing that I was saying all night. I said, "Hey, sorry, the big doors are locked. You're gonna have to use the small one right there." They said okay and thank you. No sooner do they open the door, the Karen pushes past them, not even letting them out first, and walks straight up to the second, indoors, which are also locked. She turns to me and yells. She says, "Unlock these doors now." I said to her, "Like I said, I don't work here and they closed 45 minutes ago." The manager sees the commotion and comes out. The manager says, "Hey, sorry, we're closed." Karen tells him, "Please, I just need to pick up a few more things and I'll be right out. My child's very sick." The manager told her, "Sorry, all the registers are closed and that was the last customer of the night. We open again on Monday at 7 a.m. She points to me and says, "Your employee opened the door and let me in and told me I could get my shopping done tonight." The manager looks at me and I just shake my head. "Ma'am, he doesn't work here, and honestly, I don't think he's moved from that spot for the last hour." Karen told him, "Yes, he does. I've seen him direct a bunch of customers to the proper exit door." The manager asks me if that's true, and I said, yeah, no one was out here and the customers were getting confused." The manager extends his hand to me and I walk over to shake it, and he told me, "Must have been a bit of an oversight on our end, but I appreciate you helping us out." I told him no problem. Then Karen says, "Please, I'll level with you. I'm throwing a party tonight. It was a last minute thing and I forgot to get supplies. I really just need to get in there for a few minutes, that's all." The manager told her that the lights just got shut off, so it's against safety regulations for her to even be in there, and he can't let her in. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Luckily for her, I lived down the street, so I knew the area fairly well, and I told her, "There's a variety of stores just across the street. They're open 24/7 every day, even Christmas, so they should be open right now." What I didn't tell her was my ex and I referred to this place as the emergency variety because everything there was 3 times the normal price. So I hope she enjoyed the $10 bag of chips and the $3 cans of pop. Good old lying Karen. I like how Karen's story went from, "Oh, I need my child's medication, it's an emergency," into, "Actually, I need chips, supplies, and alcohol for a party." Well, Karen's not totally wrong. For myself a lot of the times, chips and alcohol are medication. Adult life. This story's titled, Not My Dog. Hello. I commute with my bike, and I take the bus. I've been doing this for 5 years. At the end of my day, I ride to the bus stop and I stand by a tree and get my stuff ready for a few minutes before getting on the bus. On this day, I was standing there, and a lady with earbuds in comes up to me screaming and waving her hands at me to take care of my dog. I was puzzled. There was a black dog walking behind her, and it passed her and came over to me and sniffed my hand, and it was basically sweet to me. I kept telling her that this is not my dog over and over, and she couldn't hear it because she wouldn't take her earbuds out. She left, and the dog walked around the corner to a bench. A different lady, who was sitting on the bench, flipped out and screamed at me to get my dog away from her. Once again, I kept saying that this is not my dog over and over. As I did this though, I watched her body language and I realized she must be terrified. I asked her, "Are you afraid of dogs?" And she cried, "Yes." I calmly told her that I would keep the dog away from her, but it wasn't my dog. This dog was so nice and super friendly, no tags, but a harness. We were near a busy road, and I didn't want the dog to get hit by a car. I looked around the neighborhood and saw a young girl in her car in the driveway. I asked her if she could take the dog and call animal control or something, and just keep the dog safe until its owner could be found. She was so kind, and the dog just loved her, and she took him for me. I loved animals and kept thinking about this dog for the next 2 days, hoping that it was safe and warm, being fed and given love. Well, about 3 days later, I was at the same bus stop and I saw a nice man walking what looked like the same dog. I asked him about it and he said yes, he lost his dog a few days ago, and I told him I was the one who found it. I was so happy to know that the dog made it home. What a great way to end the episode. A guy who loves animals doing the right thing. It's so nice that the dog was reunited with its owner and then saw OP again a few days later. What a wholesome story. I hope you enjoyed this episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. If you missed my last video, it's right here. It's an I Do Work Here Lady, where people who work jobs get mistaken as regular Joe Schmoes. Hit that subscribe button if you aren't subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. See you guys in the next one.